At 80 years old, I can get up from a chair without using my hands. I can walk upstairs without holding the railing. I can carry my own groceries. I can play on the floor with my great-grandchildren and get back up without help. 6 months ago, I couldn't do any of these things. The difference is a simple 10-minute chair workout that I do every single morning. No gym membership, no fancy equipment, just a sturdy chair and 10 minutes of my time. My name is Margaret, and I'm going to show you exactly what I do. This isn't complicated. There are no exercises that require you to get down on the floor. Everything is done sitting in a chair or standing next to one for support. But don't let the simplicity fool you. This routine builds real strength, improves your balance, increases your mobility, and can genuinely transform how you feel in your body at any age. I'm going to walk you through each exercise, explain why it matters, tell you how it changed my life, and give you modifications so you can start at your own level. Whether you're 60, 70, 80, or beyond, whether you're dealing with arthritis, balance issues, or just general weakness from years of inactivity, this routine can work for you. I know because I started from rock bottom, and if I can do it, so can you. Let me be honest about where I was 6 months ago. I had become what people politely call sedentary. I spent most of my day sitting in my recliner, watching television, reading, or napping. Getting up to go to the bathroom was an ordeal. I would rock back and forth to build momentum, then push off the armrests with all my strength, sometimes needing 2 or 3 attempts to get vertical. Going up the stairs to my bedroom meant stopping halfway to catch my breath while gripping the railing with both hands. I had fallen twice in the previous year. Once in the kitchen when I turned too quickly and lost my balance, and once getting out of the bathtub. Neither fall resulted in serious injury, thank God. But they scared me. More than that, they scared my daughter. She started talking about assisted living facilities, about how I might be safer in a place where there were people to help me. I understood her concern, but the thought of leaving my home, of admitting that I couldn't take care of myself anymore, was devastating. My doctor had been telling me for years that I needed to exercise, but I thought exercise meant going to a gym or doing aerobics or something that required abilities I no longer had. I had arthritis in my knees and hips. I got winded walking to the mailbox. The idea of starting an exercise program at 80 seemed ridiculous and frankly impossible. But then my physical therapist, after I saw her for my second fall, introduced me to chair exercises. She said we could build strength without putting excessive stress on my joints, without requiring me to get on the floor, and without needing any special equipment beyond a chair I already owned. That first session was humbling. We did the simplest exercises imaginable, and I could barely complete them, but she was patient and encouraging. She gave me a printed routine and told me to do it every morning for 10 minutes. She said if I did it consistently for 3 months, I would notice a real difference in my strength and mobility. I decided to trust her and commit to it fully. Before I go through the actual exercises, I want to explain why this approach is so effective, especially for older adults. As we age, we naturally lose muscle mass. This process is called sarcopenia, and it starts around age 30 but accelerates after 60. By the time you're 80, you can have 30 to 40% less muscle mass than you had in your prime. This loss of muscle is why everyday activities become harder. It's why stairs feel steeper, why jars won't open, why getting out of a chair becomes a challenge. But here's the good news. You can rebuild that muscle at any age. Studies have shown that people in their 80s and even 90s can gain significant strength through resistance training. Your muscles don't know how old you are. They respond to the stimulus you give them. When you challenge a muscle, it adapts by getting stronger. That's true whether you're 25 or 85. Chair exercises work because they allow you to build strength in a safe, controlled way. The chair provides stability and support, which is crucial if you have balance issues. You can progress gradually, starting with easier versions of exercises and advancing as you get stronger. Many of the movements mimic activities of daily living, like standing up from a chair or reaching overhead, so the strength you build translates directly to making your life easier. The other critical benefit is that these exercises improve your balance and coordination. Falls are one of the leading causes of injury and loss of independence in older adults. By strengthening the muscles that stabilize your body and practicing movements that challenge your balance in a safe way, you dramatically reduce your fall risk. This was huge for me after my 2 falls. Building confidence in my body's ability to catch itself and stay upright changed everything about how I moved through my day. The routine I do consists of 8 exercises, and I do each one for 1 minute with brief transitions in between. This comes out to just over 10 minutes total. The key is that I do this every single morning, right after breakfast, without exception. Consistency is more important than intensity, especially when you're starting out. It's better to do an easier version every day than to push too hard, get sore, and skip days. Here's how the routine is structured. I start with seated exercises that warm up my upper body and core. Then I move to lower body exercises that build leg strength. Finally, I do standing exercises that challenge my balance and work on functional movements. The progression makes sense, starting safer and moving toward more challenging exercises as my body warms up. You'll need a sturdy chair without wheels. A dining room chair or kitchen chair works perfectly. Make sure it's stable and won't slide around. Some of the exercises you'll do while sitting, and some you'll do standing while using the chair for support. You don't need any other equipment to start, though as you get stronger, you might want to add light hand weights or resistance bands to increase the challenge. The first exercise is seated arm raises, and I do this for 1 minute. I sit up tall in my chair with my feet flat on the floor and my back away from the backrest. Good posture is important for all of these exercises. I let my arms hang by my sides, then I raise both arms straight out in front of me until they're at shoulder height, hold for a second, then lower them back down. That's 1 repetition. I do as many as I can in 1 minute, moving slowly and with control. This exercise warms up the shoulders and works the muscles in your upper back. It might seem easy at first, but by 40 or 50 seconds, you'll start to feel your shoulders working. If raising both arms at the same time is too difficult, you can alternate arms, raising one at a time. As you get stronger, you can add small hand weights. I started with 1-pound weights and now use 3-pound weights. The reason this exercise matters is that shoulder strength and mobility are essential for daily activities. Reaching into cabinets, putting on a coat, washing your hair, all of these require good shoulder function. I noticed after a few weeks of doing this consistently that I could reach the top shelf in my kitchen pantry without straining. That might not sound like a big deal, but when you've been limited for a long time, these small victories are everything. Make sure you're breathing throughout the exercise. Don't hold your breath. Breathe in as you lower your arms, breathe out as you raise them. This natural breathing pattern will help you stay relaxed and get more oxygen to your working muscles. The second exercise is seated marches. Still sitting tall in my chair, I lift my right knee up as high as I comfortably can, then lower it back down. Then I lift my left knee up and lower it. I continue alternating legs for the full minute, like I'm marching in place while seated. I aim for a steady rhythm, not rushing but keeping a consistent pace. This exercise strengthens your hip flexors, the muscles that lift your legs. These muscles are crucial for walking, climbing stairs, and getting in and out of cars. Many older adults have weak hip flexors because we spend so much time sitting, and those muscles don't get used. Strengthening them makes a huge difference in your mobility. When I first started, I could barely lift my knees a few inches off the chair. My hip flexors were so weak that even this simple movement was challenging. but I kept at it, and within 2 weeks, I could lift my knees several inches higher. Within a month, I could practically lift my thighs parallel to the floor. The improvement was noticeable not just in the exercise, but in how I walked. My stride lengthened, my gait felt more normal, and I wasn't shuffling as much. If you find this exercise difficult, you can modify it by just lifting your heels off the floor while keeping your toes down. This is easier, but still works the same muscles. As you get stronger, try to lift your whole foot off the floor and eventually work toward lifting your knee higher. You can also add ankle weights once this becomes easy, though I've never needed to do that. Just the body weight of my leg provides plenty of resistance. For the third exercise, I do seated torso twists. I sit up tall with my hands clasped together in front of my chest, elbows out to the sides. Keeping my hips facing forward and my core engaged, I rotate my upper body to the right as far as I comfortably can, hold for a second, then rotate back to center, then rotate to the left. I continue this twisting motion, alternating sides for 1 minute. This exercise works your obliques, the muscles on the sides of your abdomen, and also improves spinal mobility. A mobile, flexible spine is essential for turning to look behind you when backing up a car, reaching to the side for something, or simply moving through space without stiffness. Many older people lose rotational mobility in their spine, which makes them turn their whole body instead of just their torso. This increases fall risk and makes movement feel awkward. When I started this exercise, I couldn't rotate very far, maybe 20 or 30 degrees at most. My spine felt stiff and stuck, but with daily practice, my range of motion improved dramatically. Now I can rotate almost 90 degrees to each side. This has made everyday activities easier. I can turn to talk to someone in the back seat of a car without contorting my whole body. I can reach for items on either side of me without having to stand up and reposition. The key with this exercise is to move smoothly and controlled, not jerky or fast. You want to feel a gentle stretch through your torso and back, but never pain. If you have significant back problems, you might want to check with your doctor or physical therapist before doing twisting exercises. But for most people, this is a safe and beneficial movement. The fourth exercise is the most important one in the entire routine, in my opinion. It's the sit to stand exercise, and it directly addresses one of the biggest challenges older adults face. I sit in my chair with my feet flat on the floor, hip width apart. I scoot forward so I'm sitting near the front edge of the chair. Then I lean forward slightly, push through my heels, and stand up without using my hands. Once I'm standing, I slowly lower myself back down to the chair with control. I repeat this for 1 minute. This exercise builds tremendous strength in your quadriceps, the muscles on the front of your thighs, as well as your glutes and core muscles. These are the exact muscles you need to get up from a chair, toilet, or bed. For many older adults, losing the ability to stand up without assistance is the beginning of losing independence. This exercise directly combats that. When I first attempted this, I absolutely could not do it without using my hands. My physical therapist had me start by using my hands on the armrests to assist, but trying to rely on my legs as much as possible. Each day, I would try to use my hands a little less. After about 3 weeks, I managed to stand up without my hands for the first time. I actually cried because it felt like such a victory. It proved to me that I was getting stronger and that this program was really working. Now, I can do 15 to 20 complete sit-to-stand repetitions in a minute. My legs are strong enough that it feels relatively easy. This strength has transferred to every aspect of my life. I can get up from any chair, even low, soft couches that I used to avoid because they were too hard to get out of. I can use a regular toilet without needing grab bars. I can get up from a restaurant booth without embarrassment. If you can't do this without your hands yet, don't be discouraged. Use your hands as much as you need to, but each time you do the exercise, try to rely on them a little less. You can also start with a higher chair, which makes it easier, and progress to lower chairs as you get stronger. The improvement will come if you stay consistent. The fifth exercise is seated leg extensions. I sit back in my chair with my back supported and my feet flat on the floor. I extend my right leg straight out in front of me until it's parallel to the floor. Hold for 2 seconds, then lower it back down. Then I do the same with my left leg. I alternate legs for the full minute, moving with control. This exercise isolates and strengthens your quadriceps. These are the same muscles you use for the sit to stand, but by working them in isolation, you can build additional strength. Strong quadriceps are also essential for walking, especially walking downhill or downstairs, which requires eccentric control of these muscles. When I first did this exercise, my legs would shake when I held them extended. I could only hold the position for a second or two before my leg would drop. But as with everything else, consistency led to improvement. Now I can hold each leg extended for several seconds without shaking, and I can even add ankle weights to increase the difficulty. The beauty of this exercise is that you can easily modify it. If holding your leg straight out is too hard, you can just extend it partway. If it's too easy, you can hold the extended position longer or add a weight. You can also flex your foot and point your toes while your leg is extended to work your calf and shin muscles as well. I noticed that strengthening my quadriceps made going up and down stairs significantly easier. Stairs used to be exhausting and slightly scary because my legs would feel unstable. Now I can go up a full flight of stairs without stopping, and I can come downstairs with confidence instead of fear. The sixth exercise is seated side leg raises, which target the muscles on the outer hip. I sit tall in my chair with my feet flat on the floor. Keeping my right leg straight and my foot flexed, I lift my leg out to the side as high as I can, hold for a second, then lower it back down. After 30 seconds of the right leg, I switch to the left leg for 30 seconds. These hip abductor muscles are critical for balance and stability. They're what keep you from wobbling side to side when you walk, and they're what prevent you from falling when you step on an uneven surface. Many older adults have weak hip abductors, which contributes to an unstable gait and increased fall risk. I found this exercise quite challenging at first. I could only lift my leg a couple of inches off the ground, and even that felt difficult. But the progress came quickly with this one. Within a few weeks, I could lift my legs significantly higher, and my balance when walking improved noticeably. I felt more stable and confident, especially when walking on uneven surfaces like grass or gravel. The functional benefit of this exercise shows up in ways you might not expect. Getting in and out of a car requires you to swing your leg to the side. Stepping over obstacles, like a curb or a pet lying on the floor, requires hip abduction strength. These everyday movements became easier as these muscles got stronger. If this exercise bothers your hip, or if you have hip replacement restrictions, you can modify it by keeping the range of motion small, or you can skip it and do an extra round of one of the other exercises. Always listen to your body and work within a comfortable range. The seventh exercise is standing heel raises, and this is the first one where I stand up. I stand behind my chair, holding onto the back of it for support with both hands. My feet are hip-width apart. I rise up onto my toes, lifting my heels as high as I can, hold for a second, then lower back down with control. I repeat this for 1 minute. This exercise strengthens your calf muscles, which are important for walking, balance, and ankle stability. Strong calves also help prevent ankle sprains and improve your ability to catch yourself if you trip. Additionally, activating your calf muscles helps pump blood back up from your legs to your heart, which is good for circulation. When I started, I could only do small heel raises, maybe lifting my heels an inch or two off the floor. I also gripped the chair tightly because my balance was poor. Over time, my calves got stronger and my balance improved. Now I can rise up high onto my toes, and I only need to rest my fingertips lightly on the chair for balance. Sometimes I challenge myself by letting go of the chair completely for a few repetitions. The improvement in my ankle strength and balance has made me feel much safer when walking on any surface. I used to be terrified of walking on anything uneven because I felt like my ankles might give out or I might trip. Now I can walk confidently on different surfaces, and even when I occasionally stumble, my ankles are strong enough to stabilize me. If you have balance issues, make sure you have a very secure grip on the chair for this exercise. If you have any foot or ankle problems, check with your doctor before doing heel raises. You can modify by doing smaller raises, and as you get stronger, you can increase the range of motion. The eighth and final exercise is a standing march with balance challenge. I stand beside my chair, holding it lightly with one hand for support. I lift my right knee up in a marching motion, hold it up for a second, then lower it down. Then I lift my left knee up, hold, and lower. I continue this marching pattern for 1 minute, focusing on balance and control. This exercise combines the hip flexor strengthening from the seated march earlier with a balance challenge because you're standing on one leg with each march. This is incredibly functional because walking is essentially a series of single leg balances as you transfer your weight from one foot to the other. Improving your ability to balance on one leg directly translates to better, safer walking. When I began, I had to hold the chair firmly because my balance was so poor. I could barely hold my knee up for even a moment without wobbling. My physical therapist told me this was normal and that balance, like strength, improves with practice. She was right. After several weeks of daily practice, my balance improved dramatically. I could lift my knee higher, hold it longer, and I barely needed the chair for support. The confidence this gave me cannot be overstated. Knowing that I could stand on one leg without falling meant I could navigate my home safely. I could step over things without fear. I could walk across a room without feeling like I might topple over at any moment. This single exercise, more than almost anything else, restored my sense of security in my own body. For this exercise, start with as much chair support as you need. As you improve, try to use lighter and lighter touch on the chair. Eventually, you might only need one finger touching it, or you might be able to let go completely. You can also challenge yourself by closing your eyes for a few seconds while standing on one leg, though only do this if you're already quite stable. These 8 exercises, done consistently every single morning for just 10 minutes, completely transformed my physical capabilities over 6 months. The changes didn't happen overnight. In fact, for the first 2 weeks, I barely noticed any difference. But I trusted the process and kept showing up. By week 3, I realized I had gotten up from my recliner without rocking back and forth first. By week 6, I walked up my stairs without stopping halfway. By week 10, I got down on the floor to play with my great-grandson and stood back up without help. The physical changes were obvious. My legs got noticeably stronger and more defined. My posture improved because my core muscles were stronger. My balance was dramatically better. But the psychological and emotional changes were equally profound. I felt capable again. I felt like my body was a tool I could rely on instead of a burden I had to manage. I felt younger, not in appearance necessarily, but in ability and attitude. My daughter stopped talking about assisted living. Instead, she commented on how much more active and engaged I seemed. My friends noticed the difference too. One friend who I hadn't seen in a few months said I was moving like a different person. My doctor was thrilled with my progress and said that what I was doing was more effective than any medication she could prescribe for improving quality of life. The routine became my favorite part of the day. Those 10 minutes in the morning,
became sacred time where I was investing in myself and my health. I never thought at 80 years old I would look forward to exercise, but I genuinely do. It makes me feel accomplished and strong, and it sets a positive tone for the rest of my day.
If you're going to start this routine, let me give you some advice based on my experience. First, do it at the same time every day. I do mine right after breakfast, and it's become such an ingrained habit that I feel strange if I miss it. Consistency is everything. It's better to do 10 minutes every single day than to do 30 minutes 3 times a week. Second, start at your own level. If an exercise is too hard, modify it. If you can only do 30 seconds of something instead of a full minute, that's fine. You'll build up. Don't compare yourself to anyone else, and don't get discouraged if you can't do something at first. I couldn't do most of these exercises properly when I started, and now I can do all of them with good form. Third, track your progress. I kept a simple notebook where I wrote down what I did each day and any observations about how the exercises felt. Looking back through that notebook and seeing my progress over time was incredibly motivating. Some days you won't feel like you're getting stronger, but if you have a record, you can see the long-term trend. Fourth, be patient, but persistent. Real strength gains take weeks and months, not days. Don't expect dramatic changes immediately. But if you show up every single day and do the work, the changes will come. Your body will respond. It has no choice but to adapt to the stimulus you're giving it. Fifth, listen to your body. You should feel like you're working, but you should never feel pain. Some muscle fatigue and slight soreness the next day is normal when you start. Sharp pain, joint pain, or anything that doesn't feel right means you should stop and possibly modify the exercise or consult a healthcare provider. Finally, celebrate the small victories. The first time you get up from a chair without your hands, celebrate it. The first time you walk upstairs without holding the railing, celebrate it. These moments prove that you're getting stronger and that your effort is paying off. They're motivation to keep going. I'm 80 years old, and I'm stronger and more capable now than I was at 75. That shouldn't be possible according to conventional wisdom about aging, but it's true. The difference is 10 minutes a day of simple chair exercises. No gym, no complicated equipment, no special programs. Just consistent effort with basic movements that build real functional strength. You don't have to accept decline as inevitable. You don't have to lose your independence. You don't have to become weaker every year. Your muscles will respond to training at any age. Your balance will improve with practice at any age. Your body wants to be strong and capable. It just needs you to give it the right stimulus. If you're dealing with limited mobility, if you've had falls, if you're worried about losing your independence, if you just want to feel stronger and more confident in your body, I encourage you to try this routine. Start today. All you need is a chair and 10 minutes. Do it every single day for 1 month, and I guarantee you will notice a difference. My life is better in every way because of this simple practice. I can do things I thought I'd never do again. I can live independently and confidently. I can enjoy activities with my family. I'm not just surviving, I'm thriving. And if these exercises could transform my 80-year-old body, they can help you too, regardless of your age or current fitness level. Thank you for watching. I hope this inspires you to start your own transformation. Remember, it's never too late to get stronger. Your best days can still be ahead of you.